Hi everyone, it's another progress video. It's Zapier day 10 today, and today I believe I finished all of the functionality that I was going to do for the near integration on Zapier, and the last thing that was left was sending tokens, which I did this morning. So it was, as I guessed, it was pretty similar to calling change functions on contracts integration, which is basically setting up near, creating an account from the sender account, also adding private keys in there, but it's not in this step, it's in the function that I showed you yesterday. And then instead of calling a function, sending money through the account to the recipient, and then just getting the amount into Yocto near instead of regular near, clearing the key store and returning the result. As you can see here, since this is again a signed transaction, we again get the final execution outcome as the type that's returned. Here we have the configuration, like the input fields, the perform action, and the result, which is the result sample, which is exactly the same as the result on the calling change function method, which is to be expected since both of them are transactions, so they return a final execution outcome. And I'm hoping you can see everything. Last time I didn't enable scrolling down far enough. I did change the get Yocto function, so I believe you couldn't see it clearly last time. So last time I used parse near function from the utility methods of the near API.js library. This time I just used the BNJS library to create a new amount and then multiplied by 10 to the 24th, which is what Yocto would amount to, and then return that. Then the rest of the day was me writing this article about how I did this integration for near and on Zapier. Here's the preview. I hope you can see it well enough. As you can see, I've added kind of an overview, and I'll add a table of contents here, so you guys can like skip through it if you don't want to read certain parts. I'll also add a demo video section here once I record the demo video. Then just going over what Zapier is, some of their basic functionality, covering near in really short terms, and then covering Zapier custom apps, what they represent, how they're created, and then going over of how I set the project up. So basically the tooling and environment setup, like node version, the CLI, TypeScript, then some testing, so TS which is right here. Then my style and convention setup, or linting and code formatting using ESLint and Prettier, and some other dependencies. And this is just the start, so I'll be working on this tomorrow and maybe the day after that to finish up this article. And other than that, there is some tasks that are going to be needed that need finishing before I am able to publish this integration on Zapier. Let me zoom in so you can see. I hope you can read this. So these are mostly repetitive tasks, which are not that difficult. It's just they need going over. So for example, most of them are naming in this top part. So just casing of some of the words, then adding triggers when for some of the methods, or triggers rather. And then the rest of them is almost all because there are no zaps using these endpoints or searches or triggers, and I have to have a zap, an active zap, which works for all of these in order for them to go through or start reviewing this app, as well as I have to have at least 3 users using this. So I'll have to work on that. And then in terms of warnings, here these are all basically for account ID or sender account ID, chunk ID, block ID, because Zapier by convention likes to perform dynamic dropdowns when we have an ID field as an input, because it's more convenient for the user. But since this is a blockchain, we can just like list out all the account IDs or all the block IDs or chunk IDs to create a dynamic dropdown from. So we're gonna skip that. These are non-blocking anyway, so these are the ones that I have to focus on publishing tasks, because warnings will not affect if the app gets published or not, because this is gonna go over human review anyway. So I'll just leave them a note saying that these can't be created into a dynamic dropdown. And I guess this is it for today. Thank you very much for joining me on another progress video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.